come dinner time, martini time, I was feeling edgy. I didn't want to go to a meeting in town because I was afraid of running into someone I knew, but I was going to drink if I didn't get to a meeting. So I grabbed my purse and headed to my second meeting of the day. I entered an attractive building that housed recovery meetings and saw people gathered in a conference room. Two men, roughly 10 years my senior, looked me up and down as I walked in. The meeting started, and as the literature was being read, the guy chairing the meeting handed everyone a copy of a recovery book. He had us turn to the same page, and he began to read one of the stories. After 2 paragraphs, he said pass, and the person on his left began reading the next paragraph. So it went around the table until we'd read the whole story. The story was about a writer. She loved gourmet food and wine. She threw a lot of dinner parties, and after her dinner parties, she drank her guests' leftover wine as she cleaned up. As I listened to the story, I was reminded of when I hosted book club last month and purchased a case of good Chardonnay for it. Yummy appetizers filled my coffee table, and I kept my guest wine glasses full as we discussed the lovely bones. Most of my book club friends left tanked. They didn't usually, because most of my book club friends were light drinkers. They didn't top off wine glasses like I did. Afterward, I cleared dirty plates and glasses, and many of the wine glasses were a quarter to half full. The wine was too good to waste, so I downed the remnants while I cleaned. It was the first time I'd ever drunk leftover booze. I hesitated as I put the first used wine glass to my lips. It felt twisted and wrong, but I drank anyway. The story about the writer hit me hard. The group split into smaller groups, and people began taking seats in discussion rooms. I joined one and sat on a couch. Across from me was a high school boy picking his cargo pants and gym shoes. He started the discussion group off by talking about his mother and how hard it was to stay sober while she was drinking like a fish. She tries to help my little brother with his homework at night, ends up screaming at him. Sometimes she throws his books on the floor. It was like an arrow pierced my heart. I had scenes like that with Max. I stopped at the literature rack on my way out and picked up a meeting directory. The vultures who'd been ogling me in the conference room swooped in. "You have to go to 90 meetings in 90 days, Vulture 1 said. "You have to get a sponsor," Vulture 2 said. "I could take you to this really great meeting," Vulture 1 said. "I have a store in the next town over. We could talk about what's going on with you," Vulture 2 said. "I'm married," I said. "You're too young to be married," Vulture 2 said. "I'm 38. "You're older than I thought," said Vulture 2.